Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ideas Edition podcast. And I am so excited to have here one of my dear friends. His name is Peter Dietzel. He's not only one of our top producers here at IDEA Insurance Agency, he's a personal friend of mine, and I've known Pete from a lot of years now. And he has been a mentor when I started in this industry, and I actually joined one of the companies that we both worked for. He actually was a trainer to me, and I learned so many tips about the insurance business. So I'm bringing you, I believe, one of the best experts to talk about how you can grow your insurance business. And I'm so excited to have him today. He traveled all the way from Minnesota just to be here with us. And of course, it's AEP, so he's also going to take care of his clients down here. But Pete, welcome to our podcast. How are you today, my friend?
Doing well. Thanks for inviting me. This is going to be fun.
It is.
Never done a podcast before, so.
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
Well, feel comfortable. Tell the audience a little bit about you, Pete. How you got started in the insurance business.
Okay. So I'm actually a real estate broker for over 35 years, but what happened is the industry came to a screeching halt in 2008. If you were around then and you realized that no money got made. We were for actually a few years after the collapse. So at some point, we knew that if we wanted to keep our standard of living, we've got to find another income.
Yeah.
So it just fortunate that my wife knew somebody at another company. Am I allowed to say the company name?
You can.
It's gone. Universal Health.
If it's gone, you can
Universal Health is gone. And that's where I got started. And she knew a VP of sales, so a good friend of hers. And so yeah, I started there, and I actually started almost, I don't know, it was probably September. So I really didn't have a lot of training going into it, but I got in with them, and I got to tell you, if I'd have known about this business 35 years ago, I'd been in this business the absolute whole time.
Wow.
And I've been part-time in real estate. But, the real estate was good for me, but this business here is, we all know it's residual. So, you get one member and you make them happy. I have members to this day that I've had since 2011.
Yeah.
So, they pay you once a month.
Wow. And I tell you, it's the best business of the world for me because, not only you help people, but at the same time, you make a commission every time you help someone, right?
Well, that's the point, yeah.
But then if you take care of that client, you keep still getting paid, right?
Exactly.
In what other business can you continue to be paid to helping the same client? Usually you need to get new clients to keep getting paid, right? So we do a lot. We do a lot for the community. You do a lot for your members. And I think that's one of the big reasons why you've been so successful at it. But tell me, so you got started with Universal, and then how has been your growth and transition so far until this point?
Well, we first started out, I actually moved from one company to another and started tabletops. Manager, we got to get, of course, got all the training that you need, and, you got to get proficient at what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Technically, you really want to become an expert, if you can call yourself an expert. So you have all the answers or most of the answers, but tabletops, and my forte was I had so much stuff on the tabletop that nobody could get by my table without stopping. I've seen some tables that have like 5 items on it, and I'm sorry, it ain't gonna happen. So I just filled it full of snacks and drinks and toys and whatever, the knickknacks.
Yeah.
So I was constantly someone stopping and saying hi, and because I was fortunate enough to be with a group in Orlando, a low-income clinic, mm-hmm. I got invited to put my table out in front of their clinic. Mm-hmm. So that was there for years.
Wow.
So I probably once a day, starting about 9 o'clock, I would stay there until either I had an appointment or until I knew that there was something good happen that day. And then I might go do something else, or there's all kinds of things you can do to generate activity and leads. And frankly, I mentioned the money, the residual, but frankly, helping people mm-hmm. is what really it's important. I mm-hmm. mean, it's nice to be able to help somebody, because there's been many times where somebody actually started crying because they knew that I cared, and it's true. So, and I stayed in the low income part of the business because I knew that there would be open enrollment basically all year long. So annual enrollment.
That's smart.
Oh yeah, because when someone has Medicare and Medicaid, they can make plan changes throughout the year. So I knew that was going to be the key to my success. So I got in that community, and it humbled me because you really don't know how much you have it good until you see someone who's low income and maybe only making $1,200 a month and paying their rent and groceries and running out of money. But the way I looked at it is I always looked at somebody as they have a story to tell. So, and usually an interesting story. And I gave them all respect because there's good in everybody.
Wow.
Maybe they're having a bad time in their life now, but there's good in everybody. So you want to hear, hey, what did you do? Where'd you go? What would you do? What did you do for a living? And just get a conversation going. And then before it's all over with, you're making a friend too. And when they find out what you do, then there's all kinds of good things you can do for them. Everything from, getting them a good health care plan to filing Medicaid for them, which will make them extra money and extra help. So dual plans, it's amazing the change it'll make because
and the impact it causes on them, right?
Because
they didn't know better. They didn't know that those kind of help.
They had no idea. They had no idea. And when you can actually, get someone Medicaid and the state of Florida pays their whatever their Medicare premium is, nowadays one's about $176. If their paycheck goes up by $176 and they're only making $1,200 a month, that's a huge number.
Wow.
So you're increasing their income, you're getting them things that they've been having to pay for. So all kinds of benefits come in these plans. And frankly, the part I really liked about them is the gym membership. Because, like I said, a lot of these people have a lot of time on their hands too. So I've always promoted the gym membership because you can start your morning, go to the gym, work out, get cleaned up, start your day, and you feel good, and everybody needs to be able to take a bath. So even those low-income people who hygiene wasn't a big thing, that's a great way to get them in there, exercise, feel better about themselves, eat better. Endorphins happen when you work out. So I had pictures of the YMCA, and I used to walk them through the pictures.
Wow.
To paint a picture.
Like the facility.
Here's exercise classes, here's a steam room, a sauna room, basketball court. So, it was a neat thing. And it really, almost everybody, it made them like, oh, that's great. I never thought about doing that.
And that's amazing that you do that because a lot of agents I see that they said, yeah, it's covered and they mention it, but you're not only mentioning it, you are actually showing them
pictures.
And then there's something in sales that when you not only tell them, but you show them,
right,
they'll want to buy it from you. And there's, you taught me a lot of stuff from back in the days where, it's not only about helping, like you said, but the more you help, the more business you get because the most referral you get.
Right.
And that gym membership was one of the key highlights. I remember,
And for that low income person, that was only something that someone who had a lot of money did. Become a member of a gym. That's not cheap.
Wow. So
not cheap. I mean, we know it's only $60 or $70 for the month, but to them, that's money they can't afford to give out. So something free and something that can help change their life, that's a neat thing.
That's the neat thing. I never looked at it that way, but yeah. YMCAs, all these gyms some of them are very expensive.
Oh, yes, they are. Yeah.
So,
and, so if they get a little healthier, eat a little better, they'll start feeling better.
So
life gets better.
Adding value. And and then I remember when we talk about marketing, I think you are one of the best agents I've seen doing marketing, and I think the sales is a result of a good marketing. So in addition to the doctors and the clinic, what are some of the things you did throughout the day to generate that activity that you can share with us?
So Well, I usually think outside the box a lot. So are we talking where I donate medical equipment? Are we talking about that kind of stuff or something a little different?
Yeah, you can do the collision, the medical equipment type of marketing.
Okay.
It's different type of marketing.
Yeah, it's a marketing that you wouldn't think about doing. But anyhow, so as far as like one thing you could do is I had a milk route.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And on my milk route, I had like 10 places that I would go. Everything from a seniors center to maybe a homeless shelter and places where I knew seniors were.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ran out of something to do and I had no more phone calls to make at the time, then I would make that route. And I would walk through a couple senior centers. I would walk through the coalition. I would, of course, donate my time, but I always had something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the more people you talk to, so the name of the game is if you talk to 25 to 50 people a day,
mm-hmm.
you're on your way to success.
Wow.
So activity breeds activity. So, hand out your business card, asking for business cards. And one thing I did is because I had a trailer and I had some medical equipment that somebody didn't want, I put it on the trailer and I would go to churches. And I would pull in, and the pastor would come out, and I would say, "Hey, part of my mission in life is to help those who can't afford to have medical equipment." So I said, "Here's my trailer.
Wow.
Do you see anything on the trailer that you'd like?"
Wow.
And typically they would pick out one or two items, maybe a wheelchair, maybe a walker, and that was my way of having something to do, helping out, doing good.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel better, right? But how many churches are there out there? Hundreds, thousands of churches. So if you got to figure out what makes you happy, right? So every job, can be mundane, but you got to figure out what's going to make me happy and enjoy the day. So I can't hurry to get out the door in the morning, because the one that's successful is the one that gets out early and comes home late.
Wow.
If you don't make your day, 9 hours plus, while nobody wants to work a 9-hour day or more, if you're having fun, you'd be surprised how fast the day goes.
It is true.
So it's, but you're out there, you're meeting people. You got to meet people. You got to say hi. You got to have a reason to start a conversation. And whether you have a button on your shirt or whether you have a baseball cap, so talking to as many people as possible, meeting people, and basically you got to really show your face about 3 times before somebody might be willing to either listen to you or actually want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people try to make a slam dunk. Well, slam dunks aren't the great way to be in our profession, marketing and sales.
Yeah.
You need to build relationships.
There you go.
If you don't build relationships, they're not going to trust you. So what was your old saying? As a salesperson, your job is to make people like you.
Yeah.
And if they like you, they'll listen to you. And if they listen to you, they'll trust you. And if they trust you, they'll buy
from you. There you go.
So those you need to remember that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, another example is I have a boat. So I get on my boat in the Winter Park Chain of Lakes, and I got my bag. It's got all my cards in it, all my phone numbers in it. Mm-hmm. I go out in my boat, and I float, put the anchor out, and I make my phone calls on the boat.
Awesome.
So how can you find a better office than that? It's pretty wild. But so, I used to, early on when I was dreaming of getting more successful, I'd find an empty lot on a lake, and I just set up a table right there on that empty lot and do my business there. So you got to figure out what makes you tick and what makes you happy. And you're the only one stopping you from becoming a very successful person. So, but you got to be willing to learn, listen, take classes, practice, figure out, your job is to become an expert at what you do.
Yeah.
And if you become an expert, and most people won't tell you to say this, but I tell, anytime I train a group, I will tell them, you need to say you're an expert. Mm-hmm. And what that does is, not only does that a very powerful word, because most nobody says it,
Exactly.
Even the experts don't typically say it. But if you say that word, it demands a little bit of respect. And you, at some point, you got to realize, you know what? I'm telling people I'm an expert. I have to become an expert or I'll look like an idiot.
Yes.
I'll be putting my foot in my mouth a lot. But technically, if I know more than you, I'm technically an expert compared to you. So, it's not a bad word to say.
Yeah. And I remember you taught me that too, saying I'm an expert on Medicare, Medicaid, disability. That was one of your...
you reminded me now.
Generate attention.
Yeah, you're reminding me that because people have already heard someone say Medicare, heard it, done it. And then you say Medicaid, heard it, done it. Then you say disability. There's a word that nobody says. I know I'm an expert in helping people get through the disability side of the world. So that they typically haven't heard. And some of them should be disabled and they haven't been successful. So giving them advice on those things, that's pretty strong.
And I remember one of the things you had in your tables because the game is generate that attention, get them to stop, right?
Right.
So that you can
stop and slow down and have a chance to talk.
Exactly, because I see a lot of agents do a lot of tabletops, and sometimes they're not that successful, right? So I remember you having all of these things, right? Having some keywords in your speech where you can get them to stop. But also you added value to that table, right? You had newsletters, like magazines about seniors.
Yeah. You
had some Social Security documents talking about disability. You had a bunch of stuff. What are some of the things you had there that could cause people to stop at the table and talk to you?
Right. So it's a good idea to go by your the Medicaid office, go by Social Security office, and collect those kind of things.
There you go.
There's pamphlets, lots of pamphlets at the Social Security office in different subjects.
Yep. Yeah.
So you could put 2 or 3 pamphlets on the table, and maybe rotate them out. So, and you've got Medicaid pamphlets, talks about food stamps, talk about this, talk about. So something is going to slow them down. Now, and once again, you kind of sometimes, if you're at a place where the same person comes through there, once a month, they may have to see you once or twice to really feel comfortable stopping at the table. But once again, if there's something on the table that causes them to slow down and have a question, then you've won. You just need to, and even if you just say, have a great day, that's going to break the ice. So, and a lot of times what I would do is after they grab some from the table, most people think, now I owe him something. So that's sometimes why they don't stop at tables, because they don't want the salesperson to come out and ask me something that's sales related, right? So I let them come. If they don't even pick something up, I hand them a bottle of water at least. So no one's going to turn down a cold bottle of water, right?
That's true.
So you hand them a bottle of water, say, hey, have a great day, like it's over. But the name of the game is once they turn their backs or once you turn your back, go back to your table, and they start to walk away. Now the walls come down. Now they realize, okay, he's not going to try to sell me something. I'm getting by. I got a cold bottle of water, and then a bottle of water. And then I say, oh, by the way, can I give you my card? So if you had to just asked them to take your card in the beginning, it's in the trash right away.
Yep.
But you've given them something. Their walls down. They're comfortable. They're not stressed. When you ask them to take a card, that's a chance for you to hand them the card. And then I always used to say something like, if you know anybody that has a question about health care, disability, Social Security, whatever, just give them my card or tell them my phone number. And, I answer those questions all day long. So, and that typically would cause them to say, well, you said disability. So they're actually focusing on something you said, but they don't feel comfortable stopping and talking to you. But so once you break the ice there and they're willing to take your card, they may now decide, okay, I really do have a question for you. So they open up, they feel comfortable, and conversation goes. And then, and everybody has to realize that you're not trying to sell them something. What you're trying to do is get them to give you referrals.
There you go.
They have family, they have neighbors, they have relatives.
Wow.
And then everybody else has a family, relatives, neighbors. So it's a geometric thing.
Exactly.
So if you just do something nice for one person, you even actually have a right to say, hey, if you know anybody that could use my help, please give out my card or give out my number.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. Referrals is everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, let's look at the odds. You talk to 10 people that have interest in what you got, maybe only 2 say yes, but you have 8 other people who, if you're nice to them and you give them something and they like you, then they have no problem handing out your phone number to somebody else.
Yeah, and I love that because you mentioned something really key was, I try to talk to about 25 people a day, and yeah, you're not going to sell 25, but if you get 2 or 3 that are interested and then they start referring you because of the service that you did,
it's huge.
It's huge, right? So when one of the things you did is talk to everybody, it doesn't matter if they were eligible or not, you just talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the systems you use, which I recommend to all the agents, is that you put them on your phone, and then even if they were going to turn 65 in 5 years.
Okay, I love that. I love that part.
So how did you do it? Like,
sure. So, a lot of times you get in front of somebody and they're 61 years old.
Yeah.
You can't help them for 4 years. Okay. But if you get a relationship, talk to them, they like you or whatever, then you also at some point, who knows, right away maybe, or 3 minutes later, they say, oh yeah, I'm only 61, I'm not, and I know you can't be Medicare till 65.
Yeah.
Right. So you know what I know?
Yeah.
Guess what becomes really important here is putting somebody in your calendar 4 years from now. And I tell them, hey, you know what? Obviously, you're not going to be in Medicare for 4 years, but if I'm around, would it be okay if I gave you that information when you turn 65? No one gets offended by that either, because he's going to call me in 4 years. Okay. Well, the only way he can call me in 4 years is if I give him if I get his phone number. So I said, oh yeah, I'd be happy to tell you about it. And I can be your source of information all the way through those 4 years. So yeah, I'll what's your phone number? And I'll put it on my phone and I'll ring you to make sure that I've got
it's the correct one.
It's the correct one, because sometimes they don't want to give you the right number.
Yeah,
they give you one number off. So they once they give me the number, I'm dialing and say, hey, your name is Mike. Okay, Mike. And then when I hear the phone ring, I know I got the right number, and I put Mike in there, and I put his date of birth in there. 10/23, whatever year he was born. So once you put that on your calendar, calendars are amazing. You can go 4 years out and put something on the calendar. So if you're gonna be in this business for a while, and you at least should in the beginning imagine yourself in the business 2, 3, 5 years from now, then you need to start collecting names and numbers for that 5-year period. You've decided, okay, I'm going to do this for 5 years and make sure, so you want to put all these names and numbers in here, because what's really great is, let's say you've been doing this now for a while. So every year I look on my phone and I got them grouped by what month they turn 65, and it alerts me too. So 3 months, 4 months out, I look in my calendar 4 months down the road and I see, there's somebody who's turning 65. So I'll actually contact them 4 months out, or maybe even before that. So I say, hey, remember me? Because at some point they're going to forget you. Yeah. So really, if you're smart and they're 4 years out, you'll maybe say hi to them once a year for those 4 years. And so when the year starts, because I was in the business for long enough, you start your year and you already have 20 people.
That's amazing.
That year. They're turning 65
that year.
You already got it on your calendar. So you already get 20 signups for the year if you
build that out.
Them. Now, granted, what happens a year from now? Yeah. There's 25 or 30 people for the following year, and now you've got 40 for the following year. Yeah. So you keep putting business in there, and it keeps getting larger further out. So you're actually ensuring your long-term success by doing this.
And that's amazing, because I think when you showed me that tip, you had hundreds of ICPs.
To this day, I probably average about 3 or 4 a month, even now.
It's amazing because of that system that you've developed. So it's not, it's not only about, trying to get the ones that are 65 plus, also the ones that are under 65 in that, 55 to 64 age bracket.
Yep.
Right. And now we can also do ACA, right? If they don't have insurance, we can still help them, right? So
exactly. So I call it fishing upstream. You want to fish upstream. The fish come down the stream and jump into the lake.
Yeah.
Everybody's fishing in the lake.
Yep.
Well, you're catching them before they get to the lake. That is the name of the game.
There you go.
It's amazing how successful you can be, and it's fun too.
It is fun.
Because a lot of times they'll remember you too.
It is fun.
And so you're going to text them your card, and you're going to, maybe even say, hi, happy birthday, whatever. But you're building a business down the road. You're right. They don't have to be 65 now, because guess what? If they're turning 65 this month, guess how many people have got to them by now? They've already had 30 phone calls, 50 phone calls. People have been knocking on their door, which is not allowed, but they're doing some aggressive stuff.
Yeah. Or they'll probably sign up with somebody else and you lost
it. Yeah.
So
starting early is great, plus the referrals, plus the ACAs.
Yeah.
The ACAs, people kind of take it down. They don't think much of that. But 18 years and older, you could do an ACA plan for somebody or a family, and they compensate you for each person in the family. So if you have a family of 6 and they all need ACA, that's 6 times whatever that company's giving you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like 6 signups.
Pretty much, yeah.
And if you do onesies and two, one at a time, you have to do 6 signups. Let's just say that's each one's an hour. There's 6 hours. With one family, you could do it maybe an hour for the whole family, and you got 6 signups. Yeah. So you want to maximize your time.
It's smart too. It's smart to do both.
Yeah.
And I tell agents, because you got to learn both games, the Medicare game and the ACA game.
Yep.
You got to maximize your efforts and get the opportunities that come to you.
So it's called a Parthenon. So think of a Parthenon. It's got 8 columns.
Okay.
So you need to put a label on each column. One column might be referrals.
Okay.
One column might be a doctor's office. One column might be what else do we do?
Like a church.
Church.
The tabletops.
Everywhere where you get business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to just focus on one thing, because it's not the best use of your time. So you want to focus on 8 things.
Wow.
8 funnels, right? The funnel.
Yep.
So you pour a lot of water in a funnel and it drips out one at a time. Mm-hmm. So all these Parthenons, you're throwing lots of business in each one of them, in these funnels on each one of these columns, and then a drip, sale.
There you go.
Another one's drip. So,
but you got 8.
You got 8. You got 8 funnels. You got 8 pipelines of business. And after you get so much experience in this business, you realize, okay, I need to concentrate on these 2 columns because they get my most business. Mm-hmm. They're the most effective way to use my time.
Wow.
So you got to figure out, how they say you need to work smarter, not harder.
Harder, yeah.
Because we could all run around with, our tail stuck and we're just spinning and hitting in walls and stuff. You need to point yourself in the right direction, and you need to make sure that you're organized for the day. Mm-hmm. So you have to have short-term, long-term goals. But even to this day, I'll spend a half hour on my list of things to do. Mm-hmm. So if you want to be in this business a long time, you better have a list. And you put everything on your list, even things that don't mean a lot but might be a good idea. So as the list grows, you've got more and more things on your list, and you don't forget what to do. So I'll look at my list and I'll say, okay, these are the 5 major things that it's important for me to get done tomorrow. So I take those and move them to the top of the list.
Oh, wow.
And you keep organizing it that way. At the end of your day, you should organize it again, and you might organize it more than one time a day. So you want to make sure that you're going the right direction, because it's easy to just do a little bit of everything, and you're just like, nothing's happening.
Exactly.
And you feel like you're not a success. Mm-hmm. And you feel like you're wasting your time. So that's why you got to keep good records, so you know what you should be doing, and you know what you like to do. I mean, you want me to go into the gift bag?
No. as a
We don't have to.
as a marketing. I mean, that's
Here's
unique. I don't.
There's a unique
a lot
marketing.
of agents do
Here's
that.
a unique marketing.
They give them goodies and stuff from the carriers, but
Okay.
like what you did was unique. Like, tell
So-
them a little bit about the allowance and all of that.
So with WellCare, excuse me, I'm not supposed to say the word.
It's okay.
It's WellCare, good company. But anyhow, so I worked for them for, I don't know, in my mind it's 25 years, but it wasn't that long. But I got enough leads and people that I knew, and I gave got plans for. I have a lot of addresses. So if you're really sharp, I mean, you're allowed to give them how much per year?
$15 a year.
$15 a year.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go to I saw my son, to the Dollar Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Everything used to be $1 a piece. Now it's $1.25.
Yeah.
So you go in there and you find the heaviest items you can get, which would be dish soap and whatever.
Yeah.
And you put it in that bag and it weighs probably 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But you put 4 items in it. That's $6 worth of stuff, right? $1.50 times
Yeah. $6.
$6. Is that right?
Yeah. No, $5.
Well, $1.50,
Oh, it's
$1.25.
$1.25.
Right,
Yeah,
it's $1.25.
yeah.
What do you? About $5 or $6 worth of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bag's heavy. So what I have done is my son is energetic, so he's been going out to all my former members, and he carries these bags. He puts 20 or 30 bags in his car, and he'll go to the address and the name of the person that was my member, or as my member, and he'll hand out a free gift bag. Yeah, this is Pete's wants you to have this, free this gift bag for the year because he wants to thank you once again for, for being there or whatever. You're being one of his members. So when you go there and you knock on that door, then they love it. Some people actually have cried because their income is so low that what you just gave them is huge.
Yeah. Like
$6 worth of stuff for someone who's not making much money. That's in it. But anyhow, so
plus it's
they
heavy.
love it. It's heavy
They
too.
like it.
Yeah. It's but anyhow, and what happens is even if you meet somebody else while you're doing this, there's somebody in the house,
Mm-hmm.
3 people are sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're smart, and I tell them to do it, if you see somebody else that should have a gift bag, why not hand another one out?
Yeah.
I mean, not such a bad idea. Even if you handed out 3 gift bags at one house, they are just amazed because nobody does it.
Yeah.
So you want to try to do what nobody does.
There you go. Yeah.
And you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
The stuff that people don't really want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, granted, how many really want to do what? Knock on a door, give a gift bag? I don't know. FedEx does it, right? They hand out boxes and UPS, and so I mean,
but it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity to meet somebody.
Yeah, and then get referrals from that current member.
ACAs. My son would get ACA. He got all the ACA business because I didn't want to do it, but I let him have all the ACA business, and I got the Medicare business.
Yeah, awesome.
So it's amazing.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about what you're building with your children. You have a great family. You have a great wife. You got 3 kids, amazing family.
Yep.
And right now you're building your legacy, right? How do you call it? The Dietzel dynasty?
That too.
So, or the Dietzel clan, right? You mentioned that. So, and in this business, one of the things I love is that you can build that legacy. So whatever book you build, you can pass along to the children.
Correct.
The family can stays with that income coming in, but at the same time, you're not only building for them, you're actually teaching them how to build a business for themselves, and you're actually being a mentor for them. So tell me a little bit about that. How you got them interested? Because it's so, these days, kids, they don't want to.
Well, normally they don't want to go into business with their dad.
Yeah.
And I am kind of a pain. My dad was military, so I've got a few of those extra military faults, where, sometimes your patience is as long as it should be. But anyhow, so, it's interesting, but one of my sons, the middle son, God, it's kind of hard to figure exactly how it happened, but he watched me and he saw I was being successful. And, at the time he needed something to do. So I told him about the business and he I want to do that. I want to do that. So, And frankly, it's not that difficult a license to get, you know. So he took the test, he got all the licenses, and he got appointed to the ACA type business. And that stuff I used to give away, you know, and he knew that. I would give it to different people. I said, you know, I don't do ACA or I don't do life insurance. I just give it away. Granted, I was making decent money. I didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
To this day, I'm a dummy, but Jorge's getting me to realize that, you know, you should have three columns, you know, Medicare, ACA, and life insurance.
Yeah.
So anyhow, he's retraining me too. But anyhow, so he started doing it, and he's got a big heart, and so just helping people, made him feel good.
Wow.
Gave him confidence, and he's doing good right now. So actually, he's going to be helping me train my oldest boy, who's jumped in now.
Wow.
And then when the youngest kid sees that his two brothers are doing well, he won't last too long. He'll be coming in too.
Yeah.
So he actually works in the restaurant industry. So he works in a restaurant that probably has 120 people. So he's frankly sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah.
And he's not taking advantage of it yet. But, you know, as over time, he's going to figure out, holy mackerel, this restaurant doesn't give health insurance out either.
Yeah.
So he could actually specialize in, you know, going to restaurants and the ACA stuff there.
Wow.
But, you know, I can't tell you the number. Before I end any phone call with anybody, after I do a sign up, I always mention to them again, listen, I'm not sure if you remember this, or I might have said it to you, but I do all healthcare plans from 18 years and older. So you know me from the Medicare world, but I do ACA/Marketplace/Obamacare. That's 18 years and older. And I said, where those plans were not so good so many years ago, they're awesome plans today. Nobody should go without, a young person should not go without healthcare now, because it doesn't cost much, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I give that speech, and then I, of course, you know, talk about, you know, any Medicare people, have them call me. And then I also say, you know, in the last year, I do life insurance now too. So anybody that has questions about any one of those three subjects, you don't need to call me. Just hand out my phone number.
Awesome.
So,
and I remember, and now what you're doing is that you're feeding them, right? So because you have so much business coming in because of everything you've done throughout the years, and now, you know, you are kind of helping them get started with.
Yeah, it's really neat. Man. It's a lot of fun.
It's amazing.
And it's going to be that dynasty, or that, you know, giving back is with the kids is going to be cool, because then maybe I can retire. So as
you're not retired yet, Pete?
As Jorge knows, what am I, like number 4 or 5 in your hierarchy?
Probably.
And
probably 3.
Am I 3?
3,
okay,
4,
so I'm three in your hierarchy,
you
know, producer list. And I retired 4 years ago.
And you're still
phone is still ringing.
There. Yeah,
and that'll happen to you too. Once you get this rolling, you'll start getting that return phone call and referrals, and frankly, once you get to a certain point, who knows how much money that is to make you happy. Then you now can start doing the things you want to do, spend more time with the kids, you know, who knows, go build a house somewhere, buy a house. So becoming successful in this business allows you to be freed up to do other things.
Yeah.
And your imagination is, once again, the only thing that stops you.
Wow.
So I know that it's just a great avenue. It's just a great vehicle.
It is the best
to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to take a long time either.
No, man.
You're the expert on that. Some people become super successful in less than 2 years.
Yes, we've seen it. And we developed agents here to accomplish that. And they're so
it's wild.
Because, you know, they're making 50, 60,000 and now they're making 6 figures, and like, wow, now they have all this time too. And yeah, definitely. Once you get to that stage, then, you know, what can we do with the money, right? So we can do fun stuff, right?
Yeah. and you can be ready for a rainy day.
There you go.
I mean, you know, even as you get started, you need to be putting a little bit of money aside for a bump in the road.
That's true.
Because you don't want something unexpected to happen to cause your whole business to, like, you know, mess up.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to keep that thing rolling.
Yeah.
And so you got to prepare properly
and have options. Yeah. Before we wrap Puppy, I wanted to ask you a few questions, about things that have inspired you to get to where you are. I think you told me of a few books back then that really helped you. Can you maybe mention some of those for the audience? Sales books specifically. I think you.
Right.
I read a few of those
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Did you have a library of sales books here?
I did. Well, not right now, but I should do one.
That's why I asked you the question. So now you're gonna get your library.
I have it at home.
Oh, at home. Okay. No. Yeah. So what's interesting about that subject is there's bookstores out there. They don't charge you to look through books, right?
Yeah.
What's one
libraries?
A library's one. Yeah. How about one of them all? Which give me a name of a bookstore in the mall.
I mean,
Brookstone or whatever. I don't know.
Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble. Okay, yeah. Barnes & Noble doesn't charge you to look at a book and read a book. Or to look, people sit in the.
You can spend all day there.
You can spend all day there. Yeah. Okay. So what you should do is you need to have the same activities and the same manners and the same things that top producers do. So there's books in there. Top producers tells you. How to be the top producer, who's a top producer, marketing skills. They give you all this information about someone who's already successful. So there's no reason to rediscover, reinvent the wheel. It's already made. You just and you don't want to have to spend a long time coming up to speed. So books are awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of the first books you really ought to read is How to Negotiate Anything. Mm-hmm. And basically it teaches you how to negotiate. Because in everything you do, you're negotiating, whether it's with your kids, or whether it's with your client when you're at their house, you're negotiating.
Yeah.
So you need to know how to go from A to Z in negotiating, and you also need to know when somebody's negotiating you. When you're getting used, you need to at least know, okay, this guy's smarter than I thought, or this person has got a lot of skills that. So I need to be on the same level as him. So as I always say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? So if they talk fast, you talk fast. If they talk slow, you talk slow. Mm-hmm. If they dress in three-piece suits, wherever you are, you need to dress in a three-piece suit. As always, you only get one chance to make a first impression.
Yeah.
So you're going to dress properly. You got to have clean clothes, polished shoes, and so now you got to learn, what do I have to do to be successful? So there's marketing books or sales books. Mm-hmm. You can sit there and read that book, and you could actually, if you wanted to, I wouldn't advise it, but you probably could take a picture of that page you're at. So if there's something really, when you read a book, there might be 4 things in the book to you is amazing.
Yeah.
You need to find out what makes you click, what makes you tick. So when you find those places in the book, like, oh, wow, that's neat. I can do that. I feel comfortable doing that. So you need to memorize that or take a picture of it or buy the book. And now you're learning from professionals. And it's in a book. You can take your time. You can go back and read it 5 times. So being in a bookstore, getting those marketing, sales, how to negotiate anything, they have motivational books. Yeah. How about motivational books?
Excellent.
You got to motivate yourself every morning. What should you have on? What causes you to get excited in the morning? What is it? How about music you love? So you turn on your tunes that you love. So you get in a good mood mentally. It could be a comedian. You could laugh your way awake, right? Turn on some comedian's podcast while you're getting ready in the morning. So as always, you should always have things on your mirror that remind you what you want to do in life. Awesome. It could be a house, it could be a vacation, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
So you see pictures every morning. It's subliminal. Mm-hmm. So you need to do the 4 correct things to have a good start. Which, in other words, you need to feed your mind, feed your body proper. You need to exercise. You need to do all those things that make you a fine-tuned machine. Because if you are neglecting any one of those, it can bring you down.
Yeah.
If your mind is, you could be the smartest salesperson, but if your mind isn't right today, you can't sell ice to an Eskimo.
Wow.
So you have to get your mind exercise, endorphins happen when you actually, some people get depressed, right? So exercise is one of the best ways to get a natural endorphin. And when you're done, you leave, an hour later, you're like on top of the world.
That's so true.
So you need to make sure you're eating, sleeping, exercising, dressing properly. So a lot of the minimum stuff that if you don't have that in place, you're really starting from a deficit.
Yeah, and I know you got all of this from everything you have done and read throughout the years. Last question, Pete.
Yeah.
If you could give an advice to the 20-year-old Pete Dietzel, what would you say to him?
The 20-year-old Pete Dietzel. As I told you earlier, if I'd have known about this business when I was 20, I would be. I'm Medicare age, so I'd be. I don't know where. I mean, obviously I'd be more successful, in certain ways, but I just love this business. I just starting early is the key to this.
Wow, starting early.
You got to start early, and you got to give it time. Okay, and even and as you know, everybody that you're helping, they're on a different time schedule. Okay, while this person here, person A, is ready to go, motivated, you got to get out of his way. Okay, but there's other people, it's really not going to click for 6 months, and they're going to kick into gear. So it just depends on your situation and your what's happening in your life. When is it going to click in? Because it's going to click in. If you give it time, this business is not difficult either. Oh my gosh, this is one of the, I wouldn't say the easiest, but it's one of the one business that everybody needs you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
If you talked about life insurance, the door shuts in your face, right?
Yeah.
You start off with life insurance, door shuts in your face. You make the phone call, door shuts. But everybody's paying way too much for healthcare right now.
Yeah.
So they need to hear, and I tell you it all the time is, hey, you give me 20 minutes and I'll show you how you can make your healthcare plan twice as good.
Wow.
Or I'll show you another plan that's twice as good as what you got, so help. So we want to end on this word. Okay. So as you know, as well as I know, back in WellCare, there was somebody in Jacksonville, they were doing tabletops, but they were making amazing sales right away. And the management had no idea how they were doing it. So what they did is they sent somebody, a secret shopper, to that person's tabletop.
Wow.
You didn't hear that?
No, man.
Okay, well, first you get it. So anyhow, they sent a secret shopper there, and there was people around the table, and this lady was always had everybody's attention, but she was constantly saying the word help. So here's a key to this business. You want to not act like a salesperson. Don't use sales words. You want me to sign you up now? And I'll say, there's a lot of sales words, and you got to figure out what those are. You want to eliminate them from your vocabulary, and you want to put help in everywhere you can.
Wow.
So she would say they were having an issue, and she said, well, would you like me to help you? Salespeople don't do that. And she needs to get into a plan. Would you like me to help you? Would you like me to help you get into that plan? Help. You use the word help and eliminate a lot of those other sales words, and the wall's going to come down. The wall's not going to go up.
That's true. That's so true, Pete.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, thank you so much, man. You've been amazing, man. Thank you for all those tips. And yes,
glad to help out.
This business is about helping. So thank you so much for ending with that. And
thank you.
And guys, that is all for today. It's been amazing. The great Pete Dietzel here with me. Pete can talk for hours, guys. But this recording, I really, really want you to rewatch it and keep learning from all of these tips that you just listened to this. This is going to be an amazing experience for you if you're a new agent. And if you just want to hear more about the industry, what we have to offer, if you want to know more about insurance, make sure you contact us through social media or give us a call. We're here to help you. amazing podcast piece. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I'll see you on the next Ideas Edition podcast.